Alright, so this is for those of you who have decided to play the guitar in 2025. Please don't mind my hamster, he's doing cardio. But yes, you want to play the guitar in 2025 and you're looking to buy your first guitar. So this is some advice, some insight for you, things that you can consider when buying that. I would always recommend going to a store and buying your guitar from there because it allows you to hold the guitar, get a feel for it, get familiar with it, and you have all the options that are there. So you can take your time, don't be in a hurry, take your time and try all of them and see what suits you best and also what appeals to you best. That's also important, as opposed to just ordering it online based off of reviews or even suggestions. I wouldn't really recommend that. I would recommend going in person, checking it out, and buying your instrument. If you have an instructor that you can go with, that's wonderful. If you have a friend or a family member who is a musician or guitarist, that's even better because they can provide some insight for you. So typically people, when they begin on an acoustic guitar. So it has a larger wooden body with a sound hole, and that is to amplify the sound. And so you see the body is pretty wide. Now this is a completely acoustic guitar with a full body, right? So the shape is not cut away in any fashion, right? And the reason why the body is a little wider is because there are no electronics in this. So this is an entry-level guitar that I picked up several years ago. There's no electronics, so I cannot plug it in to a sound system, or if I want to record, I'll need an external microphone if I wanted to do that. But this is great to just start with and play for enjoyment, and that's something I do all the time with this guitar. And if you want to, you can later install pickups in it if you want to do that, right? So what you want to do is take the guitar, whichever one appeals to you, and put it on your lap, just like you would regularly, and just get a feel for it. So see where your hand falls, where your elbow lands on the guitar, where it's positioned. If the guitar is too big for you, you might have your elbow here and you might have to reach forward more. That can give you discomfort. So make sure you're sitting both feet planted flat on the ground and see which guitar shape is comfortable for you. Alright, so move your hand around the neck, see if you can reach all the way up and down, no problem, or even reach around the neck. That's also perfectly fine. Alright, now another thing is something called the action, which is very important, and that's the height of the strings above the neck. So the higher the action, the harder it is to press down and play. So the hindrance for a lot of people that I've realized who have suddenly stopped playing the guitar after doing pretty well is that the guitar was not set up very well for them to play well. A guitar doesn't always just come to you in this perfect setup, right? In this perfect setup, and that you don't have to do any adjustments with. So you can make these adjustments and you can ask a technician at the store to set it up for you. It's not a complicated process. You see inside, if you can notice that little hole over there, that rod goes through the neck and it's called a truss rod. And you can adjust it with an Allen key, an Allen wrench, to adjust the height of the strings higher or lower towards the neck, okay? So you can get a technician to set that up for you before you even take it out of the store. But keep that in mind. You want to make sure that the guitar innately just doesn't have a bent neck. You want to make sure that the body is not swollen. That can happen because of weather conditions and lack of acclimatization, because it's wood after all. You do face those problems, all right? So that's one thing to keep in mind. So this is one type of guitar, which is a full-bodied, just a regular, completely acoustic guitar. All right, here's another one, which has a cutaway, as you can see. This gives me easy access all the way to the end of the neck that I didn't have with that one. You can't really tell, but this one has a slightly broader neck, so the strings are spaced differently. Now this is why this guitar is just that much more comfortable for me than that one, because my fingers fit into the spaces between the strings much better than with that one. All right. The other reason is I can reach all the way up here. Now, if you notice, this body is a little narrower, it's a little thinner, and that's simply because this is a semi-electric guitar, and so it has an inbuilt pickup system where I can plug in this guitar to a sound system or a recording software, and it's going to do that naturally. I don't need an external microphone in order to pick up sounds if I want to record or perform anywhere. And so this is specifically for that. So the body doesn't need to be that wide. This again is a very, very comfortable guitar for me. Right? Again, the action of this one was significantly high. I had to set it up myself, and it took me some time to get used to these things or even get an idea of these things. When I bought this, when I wasn't very experienced with the guitar, I had played as a child. I started at the age of 6, and I continued to play, and this was maybe the second or third guitar that I had picked up. But I didn't have a great technical knowledge, and so I always thought that there was something wrong with the guitar that made it uncomfortable. But once I got the setup right, it's just beautiful to play. It's so comfortable and lovely to play. I absolutely enjoy this. And so the little panel over here has adjustments that I can make for the volume and the tone quality, whether I want the bass to be high and things like that. Right? So that's one thing. All right. So keep that in mind. This is another option that you can pick up if you want to. So if you see yourself in some time going for an open mic or performing with friends where you have to be in a public place, a venue where you have to plug in, it's always better to plug in. You can just make the investment. This would be a little more costly than just an acoustic guitar because of the electronics. You can choose to make the investment and stick with it. You know, if it motivates you to do that, so you can do that if that's what you want. I don't know if I mentioned this already, but with an acoustic guitar, you can later on, if you so wish, add a pickup system to it. They can install one for you if you go down that road. All right, so this is the other one. Let's look at one more shape with a full acoustic guitar. This is a 12-string guitar, so it has 2 of each string. I'm showing this to you because of the shape. This is called the dreadnought shape. And as you can see, it's a larger shape. So for people who are slightly smaller bodied or a little shorter, they might have to reach forward more, and this is significantly more bulky. Some other things that you want to keep in mind is make sure that there's no swelling on the body of the guitar that can happen because of the weather and other things like that. All right, so again, here's another body shape for you that you can consider. Okay, this is more of a classic shape. Let's look at another type of guitar, and this is simply because I've had a number of students buy this guitar as their first guitar. Now, what's so special about this guitar? Well, this is a classical guitar. Those are the difference between the regular acoustic guitar. This is also acoustic in nature, but those are steel-stringed guitars. Right? So you use them with a plectrum, and they have narrower necks and thinner strings. When you look at a nylon string guitar, this is specifically, people do use, I know people who do use picks and musicians who do use picks on nylon string guitars. There are people who say you can't. I think you can, it's not a big deal. But this is specifically for playing fingerstyle guitar or classical guitar. So the tone quality itself is very different. The sound type that you would get is very different. It has a much bigger body. It relies on your playing skill to develop volume and tone quality and so on and so forth and such like. And the bottom 3 strings are nylon strings. Now these strings are tied down. With acoustic guitars, they are pressed down with pins into the bridge, but these ones are tied down, right? And these are nylon strings. And so what I've noticed is sometimes with beginners specifically, when they want to play in just the regular style of playing as beginners, they want to learn chords and scales and whatnot, they have a lot of trouble Number one, with sustain or getting the notes to ring out, because these strings just don't respond in the same way as steel strings do. The other thing is the neck, the width of the neck of a classical guitar is significantly wider than a steel string guitar, so you have to stretch that much more, and it's not very easy. So the width is quite significant, especially if you're a beginner. So to play chords and bar chords, it can be challenging, right? So I wouldn't, there's nothing wrong with getting this guitar if that's what you should choose, but the function and the aim is slightly different, a little more specific. I would say that the steel string guitar as a beginner is your most versatile option. Okay, all right, so you have this one. And last but not least, because I have it, a dear friend very kindly gifted this to me. This is the Martin Backpacker. Right, this is a musical instrument. It's also a handy weapon in case of a home invasion. Right, but this one is purely for hanging around the campfire. It's called the Backpacker. You just carry it around and sit down and play if you want. There's not a lot of projection, as you can see, because of the lack of the body. There is no truss rod to adjust this. So if the action's high, it's high. And that can be, like I said, be affected by the weather even. So I wouldn't really recommend this for beginners, but at some point, should you choose to get one of these and have some fun with it, why not? Go for it. All right, so that covers the instrument itself. What are some accessories that you can pick up? Well, some guitar stores will give you the case for free. You can get a soft case, you can get a hard case. It's up to you how much travel you do, where all are you going, right? Is the guitar going to be bumped around in the back of your car somewhere? So you can make the decision as to a hard case or a soft case based on those things. Another thing that you would need is a tuner. All right, so you have different types of tuners. I have two over here. I use this one more often. This is just a little backup one by Korg, and this one is by Diodario. So what this one does, what a tuner does, is you clip it on to the head of your guitar and switch it on. And what will happen is it helps you tune the guitar, so you pluck one string at a time. Actually, I'll use the other one so I can, because it allows me to turn the tuner to face you. Alright, so I've switched it on, as you can see. And so it's red, that means I'm a little bit off tune. If I tighten it up a little bit, it turns green. Alright, so based on the string names, it picks up whether or not it's in tune, and you can use that as a reference to tune your guitar, which is very, very important. I'd recommend, you have mobile apps to do this as well, but if you can get a physical tuner, nothing like it. All right, let's look at a capo. So what is a capo? Well, if you're an absolute beginner to the guitar, you have different types of capos. Yeah, this one clips onto the neck of the guitar, like so. Right? And what it helps you to do is it helps you to play simple chord shapes or open chord shapes in different keys. That's different musical concepts that you'll come to. But with the capo, I would say just pick one up. You can thank me later, but pick up a capo. This one clips onto the neck like that, and this one wraps around the neck, and you have to lock it in place. Up to you. I find this one to be a little more accurate in holding tune as opposed to this one. That's just in my experience. All right. Next most important thing are picks. Right? So you have a variety of picks according to thickness. I would recommend buy a light one, a medium one, a heavy one. Experiment with it and see what you like. This is the most standard shape for a pick, but if you go a little more advanced, this is a harder, smaller size. So you can see the difference in size, right, between these two picks. So get yourself some picks. Another thing you can get yourself is a guitar strap. So now, I should have mentioned this. When you want to use a guitar strap to stand and play for whatever reason, you need to have these strap buttons installed. Some guitars do not have them, like I had to install this one myself. So you can pick up a guitar that has one already, or if the guitar that you like doesn't have one, you can buy the strap buttons and ask a technician to put it in for you. You get different types of straps. I just have a couple of them that I'm using. I use this one right now. Right? This one has the tendency after one point to just wear out, and also the hole there gets a little loose and it can pop off the guitar while you're playing. So you have straps like this which lock around the button, then you unlock it like that. Also by Diodario. No, I'm not sponsored, but really good stuff. I've used all of their accessories, strings, straps, picks for years. All right, another very important thing, probably the last thing that I can think of right now, is a guitar stand. Get yourself a guitar stand. So I have one here that holds two guitars. This is by Hercules. So you lift it up, lock it into place. It's that simple. And it holds two guitars. You can get a similar one for just one guitar. This is another one by Hercules, and it's nice and foldable and compact. So I can fold it this way, put it in my guitar case, and then take it out wherever I'm playing. This is a little nice, more versatile, because here, so you have this option here. So this presses down. That's because acoustic guitars have wider bodies, but electric guitars have thinner bodies. So you can actually just use this much space for the electric guitar. And when you have an acoustic guitar, it will press down and it will sit completely on this. So this is pretty good. This one, you'll have to make sure it's completely folded out and stable on the ground. You don't want your guitar to topple. Right? This one is by K&M. This is a electric guitar specific stand. So you can see it's very narrow. But this very simply just locks there, and sits on the ground. This is nice and sturdy. It's pretty heavy. So I like this one. It's made very well. And then last but not least, I'll have to move this guitar to show you, is this one. I like this one. This is acoustic guitar specific. For the wider body, the guitar sits in here, and it has very stable little legs, 3 legs over there. And this, if I'm not mistaken, folds this way. There. So you press the button and move it up all the way here. I believe this one moves as well. There you go. So it folds very neatly into this little unit and then folds out again back into place. Right? There. So I really like this one. This is the one that's I'm using the most. And the reason why I like that one, or forget about that one, but the reason why I would recommend getting a stand is just having the guitar out where you can see it and where you can reach it is by itself a great motivating factor for practicing and playing consistently, which is the key to doing everything. It's just the consistency. So I found that if you're having a hard day or you're feeling a little discouraged when you're playing the guitar, you're not making as much progress, having to go through taking the guitar out of its case, setting it up, doing this and that itself can feel like a task and discourage you from playing the guitar that day. So having the guitar out somewhere you can see it is great. And if you don't have place on the floor, you have wall hangers. You have guitar stands that are wall hangers where it's basically just this unit that attaches onto your wall. You can just drill it into your wall. It's very secure. Also made by Hercules. Really good ones. I use them for the longest time. So that's my main reason for saying get a guitar stand, so you can keep it out somewhere you can see it and be, it's in reach basically. So you take a quick break, grab your guitar, play something. So those are my little bits and pieces of advice. I know it was a little bit here and there, but I hope it helped. And if it helped, let me know. And if you want me to make a video talking about just getting started with the guitar or things to do, I probably will make a part 2 to this. This was purely gear specific, but I'll make one that's more mindset and concept specific as well. So, but let me know if this helped, and enjoy. I hope you continue playing the guitar for many, many years.